Exclusive. Tottenham are preparing a record £70 million package for Iliman Ndiaye. Thomas Frank wants his new striker immediately. Welcome back to Tottenham News Today channel. Tottenham are gearing up for one of the boldest moves of the January window, with club insiders convinced that Iliman Ndiaye has become the top target to revive Thomas Frank's misfiring attack. Spanish outlet Fichajes reports that Spurs have shifted their full focus onto the Everton forward and are prepared to go further than ever before, even if it means smashing their transfer record with an offer close to £70 million. According to the report, Tottenham have already initiated contact with Everton, with Fabio Paratici personally driving the negotiations. Spurs believe they hold a genuine advantage in the race for the Senegal international, largely due to their escalating injury crisis up front. Randal Kolo Muani has been ruled out for months with a serious injury, while Dominic Solanke, who has missed the entire season so far, has no clear timeline for his return, nor any guarantee he will regain his sharpness immediately. With the front line collapsing at the worst possible time, Thomas Frank has made it clear that he needs an immediate Premier League-ready solution, not a long-term project. Ndiaye fits that profile perfectly. His dynamic performances for Everton this season have propelled him onto Tottenham's radar, with scouts consistently reporting that he is hitting the best form of his career. His ability to operate across the attack from either flank or through the middle aligns directly with Frank's flexible system. Fichajes claims Tottenham have launched a significant offensive to secure the 25-year-old, acting quickly to avoid a bidding war later in the window. Spurs are said to view Ndiaye as a player capable of transforming their attack from day one, a forward who brings pace, aggression, creativity, and a level of reliability that their current injury-hit squad simply cannot offer. While Everton are reluctant to entertain the idea of losing one of their standout performers, the financial reality at Hill Dickinson Stadium and the magnitude of Tottenham's potential offer could test their resolve. Even so, convincing the player will require a strong sporting project, something Frank is prepared to sell personally. The Spurs manager is reportedly eager to speak with Ndiaye as soon as the clubs progress further in negotiations, with the intention of making him the centrepiece of Tottenham's January reinforcement plan. With the window closing in and Tottenham's attacking options dwindling, the pressure is rising. Spurs are ready to spend big. Paratici is already positioning the club behind the scenes, and Thomas Frank is pushing urgently for the deal to be completed. A record-breaking move for Iliman Ndiaye is no longer just speculation. It is fast becoming Tottenham's defining mission of the January transfer window. Ivan Toney is edging closer to a dramatic Premier League return in January, and the striker is reportedly ready to force the issue himself to make sure he ends up at Tottenham. The 29-year-old has grown increasingly frustrated with his current situation abroad, and sources close to the player believe he is now prepared to take decisive action to secure a reunion with Thomas Frank, the manager who turned him into one of England's most feared forwards. Tony's World Cup dream is hanging by a thread. Thomas Tuchel will not consider players who are not competing at the highest level, and staying in Saudi Arabia simply won't give Tony the visibility or rhythm he needs. A winter move back to England is essential, and Tottenham have emerged as the destination he favours above all others. Everton and West Ham have shown firm interest, but Tony's intention is becoming clearer by the day. If a Premier League comeback is on the table, he wants that comeback to be in North London. TalkSport's Alex Crook has hinted that doubts remain over whether his current club will even entertain a January exit, but former Spurs scout Brian King, speaking exclusively to Tottenham News, believes that once the door opens even slightly, the race ends immediately. If Tony gets a choice, Tottenham win it hands down, King insisted. He knows Frank's system, Frank knows how to use him, and Spurs give him the Premier League stage he needs. King went further, suggesting Tony and his representatives should already be applying pressure behind the scenes. If I were in his position, I'd be pushing as hard as possible to get out in January. He can always return to Saudi Arabia after the World Cup, but right now he needs competitive football, real competitive football, every single week. A move to Spurs would transform Thomas Frank's attacking options overnight. With injury concerns still lingering in the squad, adding a proven Premier League scorer in his prime would be a monumental boost. For Tony, it offers a direct pathway back into England contention. For Tuchel, it solves a major squad dilemma ahead of the tournament next summer. And for Tottenham, it could be one of the most decisive January deals they've made in years. All eyes now turn to January. Tony wants the move, Tottenham want the player. And the pressure is starting to build around a transfer that could reshape the Premier League headlines this winter. Spurs have been hit with a major twist in the race for Kobbie Mainoo, and the situation around the Manchester United youngster is escalating at remarkable speed. What once looked like a straightforward pursuit has now turned into a frantic scramble, with Spurs suddenly facing a serious threat from Italy, and that threat is growing by the hour. Mainoo has quietly made it known behind the scenes that he is ready to walk away from Old Trafford. The midfielder is desperate for consistent minutes, fully aware that Thomas Tuchel will not gamble on players who are sitting on the bench when the World Cup squad is selected next summer. At 19, he wants real responsibility, a guaranteed place in the starting 11, and a project that gives him the platform to explode. Tottenham believed they could offer precisely that. But a new wave of interest from Europe has thrown the entire operation into doubt, and the club now find themselves under immense pressure to act decisively. Reports emerging last week revealed that Napoli had launched a forceful push for Mainoo, but the situation has now moved beyond initial contact. The Italian champions are closing in fast, and their confidence is rising. According to a fresh update from Team Talk, Antonio Conte has personally identified Mainoo as the missing ingredient in Napoli's title defence, and Champions League ambitions. Conte is convinced that the United midfielder can elevate their entire system, and the club's board has responded by showing a willingness to meet Manchester United's conditions, something few expected. Their negotiation stance has intensified to the point where insiders are describing the mood in Naples as obsessive. Napoli have proposed a loan with an option to buy, a structure designed to tempt United into agreeing while allowing the Italian side to spread the financial hit. Crucially, Mainoo himself is said to be intrigued by the project. Conte's sales pitch has reportedly impressed those close to the player, especially the promise of a guaranteed starting role from day one. This development leaves Tottenham in a precarious position. Spurs have long admired Mainoo, viewing him as a transformational signing who fits perfectly into Thomas Frank's system. The club believed they were well placed to secure his signature, especially after receiving encouraging signals from the players' camp earlier this month. But Napoli's rapid escalation has changed everything. The next few days will be crucial. Tottenham must decide whether to accelerate their efforts or risk watching Mainoo slip through their fingers and head to Serie A with the midfielder pushing for a move away from United and his World Cup ambitions hanging in the balance. This is a transfer saga that is spiralling with extraordinary intensity, and Tottenham can no longer afford to wait. That's all for today's update. If you enjoyed this video and want to stay up to date with everything Tottenham, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a story. Don't forget to drop a like and share this video with other Spurs fans. Together we can keep growing the Tottenham News Today community. Thanks for watching, and as always, come on you Spurs!